Hi everyone, it's Nikolai Pavlov and welcome to my channel. In this video we'll look at the calculate function, which many say is the most important function in DAX. Previously we already looked at calculate, but we really just scratched the surface. But if you would like to understand the basics of calculate, I would recommend you look at my previous video, which is available through the link above. In this and next several videos, I'd like to take a deep dive into more complex use of calculate. Today, let's start with the use of calculate to calculate percentage. Apologize for repeating myself there. So let's start with a simple table here, which shows the sales amount filtered by the brand name. Now let's find out the percentage of sales for each brand. Now let's think a little bit about the logic here. To calculate the percentage for each brand, we need to divide the total sales for each brand by total sales. For this brand, for example, for Adventure Works, we need to divide this number, 1 million, or whatever that is, divide by the total of all sales. And that way we will find out the percentage of sales for this particular brand. The basic way is to create the measure which will always show the total sales. And then we can divide the total sales for each brand by all total sales. So let's do that. Let's name the measure all brand sales, and then it will be a calculate function right here. In the expression we'll put the total sales here, and as a filter we'll use the function all to indicate all brand names in the product table. And if we put that into our table, then we'll see that the total sales, this number right here, which is the sum of all the brand sales, right, shows in all the rows of the table. So in other words, this number right here does not get filtered. We know that by itself this is a pretty useless measure. However, we can use this measure to find out percentage. What we're going to do is divide total sales by all brand sales. Let's create a measure. Percentage of sales, and it will be the divide function, where we divide total sales, this number right here, by all brand sales right here, right? And let's put it into our table, format it. There we go. Now we can see the percentage of all the sales filtered by brand. But that's the basic way of calculating percentage, and we're here to learn a bit more advanced DAX skills, right? So let's scrap all of that and do it in a different way. Now what we can do is actually copy this function right here and build a more complex measure. Let's take a look here. So first of all, we will introduce a variable. We're going to call it current brand sales, and it will be equal to our measure total sales. Then we're going to introduce another variable which we're going to call all brand sales, and this will be equal to our calculate function which we used previously. And finally we will introduce a third variable which we're going to call ratio, which will be equal to a division of current sales, current brand sales, by all brand sales right here. And we're going to return simply ratio. We can see that our numbers didn't change in the table. They stayed the same, but the difference is that now I can delete these all brand sales. And I take it out from here, and now I have a total sales, and for each row I have a percentage of the sales for this particular brand. And what I did here is, by introducing variables, I saved a step and I didn't have to create another additional measure. So for now it looks pretty good, right? However, if I added the second category into the table, for example, continent name, continent name right here, and we're going to put it in our table. Then my percent numbers suddenly don't make any sense, right? Take a look at this. Quite simply, the sum of all of these percent numbers will definitely be more than 100%. Although total sales is correct, percent doesn't make any sense. This happened because in our percent of sales measure, in the numerator part, all brand sales, the calculate function put an explicit filter on the brand name. Meanwhile, other filters didn't change. Take a look. Our all brand sales right here, which we use as a numerator to find out percent, does not include the continent name, which means when we divide current brand sales by all brand sales, then obviously the numbers for percent become different because they get filtered by continent name. In other words, when we added the new row filter context, the continent name in our case, into the table, right? The denominator part has changed because it now includes the continent name. So to fix this issue, we need to modify our formula by adding another explicit filter argument to our calculate function. This will override the existing filter context by a new one inside the calculate. Take a look. So now what I will do is I will basically add another all function right here, in which I will put as a filter continent name right here. Okay, and now you can see that my numbers have changed. Now these numbers make sense. You can even go and double check. You can divide this number, right, by this number and you will get 1.6%. All the percentage in the percent of sales column are now correct. Alright everyone, that is it for today. I hope you're starting to understand the power of a calculate function. When using calculate, it's very important to make sure that correct filters are applied and modified. Using the calculate function, you can override existing filter context by the new ones, which you indicate inside the calculate function. In the next video, we'll continue learning about calculate, and if you're finding my videos helpful, please subscribe and feel free to ask any questions in the comment section. See you later, and until then, take care of yourself. Bye.